Good morning everyone. So today's video is going to be a little bit different to my normal daily vlogging because I was watching Dr. Phil this morning. I know, guilty as charged. It was called Oversexed and Underprotected. Before we go ahead and get started, this is a conversation about sex, sex ed and sexism. So I'm not going to sugarcoat it for you, and the idea of calling it a real ass talk was indeed inspired by Desiree Smith. The other thing I wanted to say is I'm starting to get sick. I didn't want to tell myself that this was happening, but if I lose my voice or if I have to cough or whatever, yes, it is a fact that is happening. The episode of Dr. Phil was Oversexed and Underprotected. And the episode began by saying that women are vulnerable to pregnancy, or that it kind of making it seem like it was the woman's fault and the woman's decision. And to an extent, yes, if you have a one-night stand and the girl gets pregnant, then it is, at the end of the day, her decision to keep, abort, or put up for adoption that child. However, it is the man's responsibility to understand that there is a possibility of pregnancy before inserting his penis into her vagina. So that's a pretty big one. And I was reading something from TED this morning, and it was basically saying if you can't have an open conversation with the person you are preparing to have intercourse with about, you know, worst case scenarios and what you're doing to prevent them and that kind of stuff, if you can't look them in the eye and say, I want you to wrap up and then be respected, then you aren't ready to be having sex with that person. And if you're having a one-night stand, there's bound to be alcohol involved and stupid decisions will be made. So just putting that out there. The real thing that bugs me is that men seem to think that it's women who get pregnant. And so all the sex education and the unplanned and teen pregnancy campaigns are targeted towards women. If you look at it in the bigger picture, okay, this is something that it really pisses me off. Okay, it takes two people to make a baby. Why would you then say, okay dad, don't worry about it, hey mum, all your fault, we told you, you idiot? Why don't you tell the dad as well? Why doesn't sex ed ever get targeted towards men? Men make babies. A woman can't do it without them. And if we did, we'd only have women around, by the way. I don't understand how it takes two people to do something and only one person gets lumped with the blame and the responsibility and the burden of the outcome. It's like this whole she was asking for it mentality. No one asks to be raped. No one asks to fall accidentally pregnant. Yeah, okay, in this circumstance, two people decided to have unprotected sex. Two people should have to live with the consequences of that. So why aren't we giving preventative talks to guys? And in the episode, yes, at the end, Dr. Phil does give some pretty harsh, you know, realities. Because if we look at it this way, you teach a woman not to have a child, or if you teach a woman to actually plan her pregnancy, you may be stopping one unplanned pregnancy. Because I'm going to tell you right now, it only takes one unplanned pregnancy. You might stop that first one, but if you teach a guy, if you go, hey buddy, stop whoring yourself around, you can stop plenty of unplanned pregnancies. Are we kind of catching the drift, you know? I really think the entire society is one-sided, and there's the whole the fact that we do target our preventative measures to women, if that makes sense. Like in high schools, you've got girls having to look after a pet orange or whatever it is that they do these days. Now they actually have Ready or Not Tots, which is what they used in the Dr. Phil episode, which is a baby that acts like it's a toy baby, but it acts like a baby. In most circumstances, that only gets used on young girls, not on young boys, because the way society is currently, young boys never deal with that baby because it's mum's fault for getting knocked up. It's mum's fault for whatever it may be. And I find that absolutely ridiculous because it's actually kind of dad's fault too. I just really needed to come out here and say that because it really bugs me that even today we do ignore the two parties in this event. And I honestly think that if we were looking at both parties that create this problem, we would have a much better success rate of preventing and fixing this problem. Because like I said before, one woman can get pregnant once every year, or one guy can get a woman pregnant every night of the year. If we're being realistic here, okay, maybe not, that's not scientifically realistic, but you know, statistically he could be having unprotected sex every night with a different woman, and that woman could, each woman could, you get what I mean, right? Like, the problem here is not in the woman, because then there's the fact that the woman has to either be on the pill, which doesn't work for a lot of, it doesn't work. There are so many problems that could go down with that, and it's a woman's decision to decide whether she wants to do that or not. And if she doesn't, that doesn't mean that she is wrong or right or whatever. And there are other things that can cause lacks of effectiveness or efficacy in the pill. Antibiotics are often known to, diminish the effectiveness. So different medication that you take can take away from how effective the pill is. So the woman could be making the perfectly good decision and then find herself in a situation where she wants to have sex with someone and then be punished because of an accident that happened that was now entirely her fault. But if she had asked the man to do his part, there is a very high likelihood of him saying no, and her just having to suck it up and put up with it, because sex does feel different when you're wrapped up. It does. And wrapping up does a hell of a lot more than just prevent pregnancies. It bugs me that it's now all on the woman to take a pill every day when it doesn't, even putting pregnancy aside, it does nothing. Are you getting where I'm coming from with this? Putting unplanned or teen pregnancies aside, we still have the problem of STIs and diseases and a whole bunch of health concerns that are not properly taken care of by something that prevents pregnancy. So you can prevent pregnancy by taking the pill if you do it correctly and don't have anything taking away from the effectiveness of the pill, and then you can go and have unprotected sex and end up with herpes or chlamydia or a whole bunch of other things, but it still ends up being the woman's fault. And sex ed's just different for men and women. Guys don't have to learn about how to push a baby out of themselves or how to then take care of a baby, feed the baby, all the problems that can occur while you are carrying the baby for 9 months and then attempting to get it out of you, and all of the problems that can happen with the baby depending on how you live your life. There are so many things that go into making a baby, and yeah, sure, the woman carries the baby, so it is better off on her to know these things. But if guys knew them, if guys knew all the problems and the pain and the suffering and the all of the things that go into making a baby and keeping a baby and all of that, because guys are wusses, okay? And if a man got to see a baby being born, or babies with disabilities or whatever, I think he might think twice about procreation, even if that's not the reason that he is partaking in sexual intercourse. I guess what I'm trying to say here is practice safe sex, kids. And I really hope that society changes its view on where it targets its sex ed and where it targets its preventative measures, because, like I said, a woman can only get pregnant pretty much once in a year. A guy can get women pregnant multiple times in a month, at least. So we really need to rethink the whole it's mum's problem now, mum. And yes, if two people have unprotected sex and the woman decides, I'm going to go through with this pregnancy, no, the guy doesn't really get a say in that, but I think it does go both ways. I think that the guy should have a say in it. But if he doesn't want to have a baby, he shouldn't be having unprotected sex. So again, it just comes back to this whole, why aren't we teaching guys to have protected sex, and why are we saying that the women have to be more careful and dress less slutty? or not enjoy their urges. Like, if you do not want to be a father or a mother, then bottom line is don't have unprotected sex. I'm not saying don't have sex, but do it properly, do it safely. And if you do want to have a baby, then try and find someone that is worth having that baby with, because it's a big process, a very big process, and there's a lot involved. A lot of expenses and a lot of emotional, physical, like social drains that are associated with it. So if you don't want to have a kid, practice safe sex. I don't care if you've got a dick or if you've got a pussy, like, just practice safe sex. And if you do want to get pregnant, then yeah, like I said, make sure you're making the right decisions for that, because if I were to want to get pregnant right now and I just went and found someone off the street and was like, you are going to be the father of my baby, that's a huge decision. That's a really huge decision. You can't know whether someone is baby daddy material in a matter of like a few drunken hours. Like, doesn't happen. So be safe, kids. I really sincerely hope they reassess the whole sex ed situation and the whole pregnancy education situation, because guys seem to have it so easy, but it's their fault too. So yeah, that was my real ass talk on sex, sex ed, and sexism. I'm going to leave you now. I have a vlog uploading from a couple of days ago. No, just yesterday actually, just yesterday. And you guys will see me today. That feels so weird. Okay. Bye, guys.